In the ongoing chip war between China and the U.S., Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan all played an important role. So far, South Korea has been careful to avoid alienating either China or the U.S. But Vice President Kamala Harris' hand gesture when she met with South Korean President might not have helped the Koreans pick a side. Do they have any options?
Hello, welcome to my show. I'm Lei. Korean President Moon Jae-In wrapped up his visit to the United States last week. The U.S. has been South Korea's ally for decades, while China is South Korea's biggest trade partner. One daunting task for Moon's administration is balancing the relations with both the U.S. and China. Moon has been known for being elusive and not picking a side. A joint statement released between President Moon and President Biden last week, however, indicated that the balance had been tipped in favor of the U.S. But this delicate relationship was immediately tested when a video showing Vice President Harris seemingly wiping her hand after shaking Moon's went viral. Comments erupted on American social media, defending her as well as accusing her of insulting Moon. Surely her move didn't help America's case. But how did the Koreans respond? And how are America's allies in the region affected? The three top Korean newspapers did not mention or comment on the incident. An English daily paper, the Korea Herald, published a short piece that focused on American reactions. Although the article only had 241 words, it did mention something the American media didn't. It said that it's rare for a U.S. vice president to meet one-on-one with a foreign head of state. I think the Koreans are very smart in not reacting, but using the opportunity to point out the unusual nature of the meeting. What's noteworthy is the Chinese media's strong reaction. Major news portal Sohu had a strongly worded piece titled, "Shameful, American Vice President wipes her hand on pants while meeting with Moon Jae-In, breaking Korean people's heart." It claims that Harris' hand wiping expressed the Biden administration's disappointment in Moon because of his reluctance to alienate China. The Chinese article compared Moon's visit to Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga's visit to the White House in April. It claimed that the Americans aren't as happy with Moon as they were with Suga because, unlike Moon, the Japanese showed solidarity with the Americans over the current tension between Taiwan and China. The intricate relations between Korea, Japan, and the U.S. seem to evolve around Taiwan and China. The Chinese regime knows its chances of taking over Taiwan by force are minimized if Japan and Korea remain strong allies of the U.S. Some experts say the most pressing reason mainland China wants to take over Taiwan is because of semiconductor chips. China is suffering from a severe chip shortage due to U.S. sanctions, and Taiwan has the world's largest semiconductor foundry. Taking over Taiwan will solve China's chip shortage. So let's take a look at the major role semiconductors have played in multilateral relations in the Pacific region. In the semiconductor foundry market, South Korea's Samsung is the second largest manufacturer after Taiwan's TSMC. Samsung also dominates the DRAM and the NAND flash memory markets with a 38% market share. Another Korean company, SK Hynix, has 21%. South Korea has a combined 59% of the memory chip market, while America's Micron Technology only has 17%. Clearly, Samsung plays a decisive role in America's strategic chip alliance. However, this puts pressure on Samsung and the South Korean government because for Samsung, the US and China are both important. Last year, Samsung's total sale of semiconductors to the United States was approximately $46 billion, while sales to China were $44 billion. They are close. Samsung has established a chip factory in Austin, Texas, and plans to invest $17 billion for expansion. In China, Samsung has a production and a packaging plant in Xi'an and Suzhou, and will spend $15 billion on building a second plant in Xi'an. It's interesting to note that when the United States promoted its Global Clean Network initiative against Huawei, South Korea was unenthusiastic about it. Last year, when the United States officially sanctioned Huawei, Samsung had no choice but to join because its success in the semiconductor industry relies on American technology and policies. In the 1980s, 3 Japanese companies, NEC, Toshiba, and Hitachi, were the world's top 3 memory chip manufacturers and dominated the industry. The American company Intel lost significant money because it couldn't compete and was forced to get out of the memory chip business in 1985. As a result, in September 1986, the United States decided to sanction Japan and imposed a 100% punitive tariff on chips from Japan. Since then, Japan's semiconductor industry began to slide. Its share of the global DRAM market dropped from 80% share to 10%. But Japan's 70% market drop didn't come back to the US. South Korea saw the opening and seized the opportunity. After 1986, South Korea began to exert its efforts and quietly became an American ally for semiconductor production. Samsung successfully lobbied the Clinton administration in the 1990s. Subsequently, one of its early DRAM solutions was approved by the U.S. Semiconductor Standardization Committee and became standard memory chip for PCs. With that history, Samsung understands the importance of the U.S. alliance and can't afford to lose it. With the ongoing tension in the Taiwan Strait, both Taiwan and Japan have formed stronger partnerships with the United States. Taiwan's chip industry is very mature, and with solid support from the United States, Taiwan can quickly cut into South Korea's market share, just like how 40 years ago, the U.S.-Korean partnership replaced Japan's dominance in the industry, and this might be already happening. Taiwan's Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, announced last year that it would invest more than $10 billion to build a chip fabrication plant in Arizona using the company's 5-nanometer manufacturing technology. In early May, Reuters reported that this is just the first of the 6 facilities planned in Arizona. It seems that TSMC's plan in Arizona is for the long term. TSMC executives are also discussing constructing a more advanced factory that can manufacture chips with 3-nanometer technology. In addition to TSMC, Taiwan's Nanya Technology, a subsidiary of the Formosa Plastics Group, announced in April that it would spend $10.7 billion to build Taiwan's first 10-nanometer DRAM plant. Meanwhile, America's Micron Technology will invest $2.3 billion to build a new factory in Taiwan starting this year. These latest US-Taiwan initiatives certainly give South Korea and its semiconductor players a sense of urgency and a cause for worry. On May 14th, the South Korean government announced the K-Semiconductor strategy to build the world's largest semiconductor manufacturing base. It will invest $450 billion, which is about the same as Korea's entire foreign exchange reserves, in the next 10 years. But trying to balance China and the US at the same time may not work for South Korea anymore. They simply cannot afford to jeopardize the US alliance, since this is what helped build their position in the first place. The Koreans must pick a side as time is running out. Semiconductors will continue to play an important role in the multilateral relations between China, Taiwan, Korea, Japan, and the United States. In the current mood of a chip war, a small hand gesture by a dignitary, such as Kamala Harris, could trigger an international crisis. Subscribe to my channel and I will keep you updated. Thank you for watching.